In a sport where the design of a car means pretty much everything, some teams manage to get that design bang on perfect, go on to win races and then even championships. Whereas others, well, not so much. Ever since the 2022 regulations were implemented, Red Bull managed to hit the nail on the head with both their RB18 and RB19 car designs, and since the beginning of 2022, they managed to win 26 out of the 31 races hosted so far. That comes out to a ridiculous 84% win rate. So if the car is that good, why don't teams employ a sneaky method you and I are familiar with to develop their own cars? Yes, I am talking about copying. So let's put it blatantly. Why aren't F1 teams right now copying Red Bull's design? It's been real obvious since about midway through 2022 that Red Bull weren't playing around anymore. We all remember the first race back from summer break at Spa. Max Verstappen started the race in P14 alongside what seemed to be his rival that season, Charles Leclerc. But while Max graciously flew past the whole grid the second the lights went out, Charles didn't. And that was the exact moment we all realized, damn, F1's gonna be boring again. I actually made a video about whether or not Red Bull would dominate this new era of F1 like a year ago. And in the comments, people were talking about how, oh, teams will manage to catch back up as they always do. And in a sense, they weren't wrong. But what they did seem to forget about is just how long it would really take. Just have a look back to 2014. Mercedes produced a car so good that it made all other teams look primarily like professional clowns and then amateur racers. And over the years, their biggest competition came from, well, themselves. And until 2017, Mercedes saw really no competition. And even then, from 2017 to 2019, the main challengers were Ferrari, a team that has a total combined IQ of 4. So as you could imagine, no, they didn't manage to come out on top. But then out of nowhere, a savior of the sport came rising out of the ashes and made the 2021 season of Formula 1 one of the greatest ever. Sounds amazing, right? But now to ruin everything. Think of how long that took. Don't bother doing the maths, you're watching a YouTube video, I'll do it for you. It took approximately 1 billion years. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration. The more accurate number is 8. 8 years for a team to equal Mercedes on performance. And guess what? They still won the Constructors' Championship that year. Something only a genius could have predicted. And now it's Red Bull's turn. But I'm pretty sure most of us who are mentally sane don't exactly want to wait another 6 to 7 years to see a title fight again. Quite frankly, I think domination periods ruin the sport, but that's beyond the topic of this video. So let's track back. Why in the world aren't teams using Red Bull's design? Well, when it comes to copying, in many things it can be quite easy to do. But in F1, it's as far from that as it can get. You can't just walk over to the other garage, say hi to the boys and ask for a quick peek at the car. Unless, of course, you're McLaren in 2007. And that didn't end so well for them, did it? So it's established. It's hard to copy. But it's not like it can't be done. Most recently, we've seen the beautiful pink Mercedes do it. Racing Point straight up copy and pasted Mercedes W10 and brought it into 2020. It was hilariously obvious, but then to top it off, we got this.
I do not often speak publicly. However, I'm extremely angry at any suggestion that we have been underhand or have cheated, particularly those comments coming from our competitors. I've never cheated at anything in my life.
Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, he sounds quite convincing. Anyway, they went on to finish 4th in the Constructors' Championship that year, just 7 points behind McLaren in 3rd, who of course they would have beaten if they weren't smacked across the face with a 15-point penalty in the Constructors' standings. And honestly, I don't even know why. I mean, Lawrence said they didn't copy anyone. Either way, that year has to be seen as a success and all down to copying the W10. But nobody is doing it anymore, and here's why. One of the biggest reasons is that it's quite simply harder to do now than ever before. Since the new technical regulations instruct that cars use ground effect to produce the majority of their downforce, most of the important stuff is now beneath the car. So you can probably see the problem there. But I know what you must be thinking. The Red Bull floor was recently on display for everyone to see at the Monaco Grand Prix, so how come no one's taken that into account? Well, I'm pretty sure they have, or at least tried. But the thing is, all that could be seen were a few pictures taken from a distance about as far away as Leclerc is from a championship win. So yeah, that's far from optimal. You have to understand that you and I can't even begin to comprehend the aero underneath that thing. It's so complicated. So you can imagine how a picture or two isn't really much to base something so technical off of. Yeah, I'm sure it can help, and really I think overall it will, but not in the way many people might have expected. So sorry to tell you bro, but no one's bringing a Red Bull floor to Silverstone. Obviously, another issue with copying a car is what happened to Racing Point in 2020. The penalty. Yeah, I know their punishment wasn't all that detrimental, but you've got to remember, the difference in finishing 3rd and 4th in the championship is a good few $1 million in prize money. So yeah, I think teams would rather design their own car in hopes that it's fast and finish wherever they may in the championship. That kinda goes hand in hand with the fact that they also don't want to be known as cheaters. I can already imagine that the PR team at Racing Point were working crippling hours only for everyone to laugh at the fact. Cause guess what? We knew, and there was really no way of hiding that. In fact, every single attempt at explaining that they didn't cheat made the whole situation a whole lot more funny than it already was, so there's that. But really, the biggest reason, and I know it's gonna sound a bit obvious, is that they just can't. Not because of rules, not because of the lack of pictures to go by, but just the fact that they don't understand the concept they're copying, and so they just can't copy it, plain and simple. If I'm in a maths exam and the question requires me to show my working, and my friend shows me his answer, but I don't understand the concept of what I'm actually writing, inevitably I'm gonna make some dumb mistake. Now take that scenario, but increase the complexity, the stakes, and the pressure all by 1,000, and that's what the engineers are dealing with. And that's not the end of it, because while in an exam hall you can get lucky and scrape together a viable answer. Trust me, I know from experience. But in F1, that's not the final answer. During the year, inevitably teams will upgrade their cars to go faster. Mind-blowing, right? But again, how could a team that doesn't fully understand their own car bring upgrades? The short answer is they can't really. Or at least, not one's good enough to make this whole process worth it in the first place. So sadly, as cool as it would be to see a second Red Bull on the grid, especially with someone like Fernando or Lewis in them, the truth is Red Bull looks quite safe right now in terms of copying. But is that really the case? Am I just being pessimistic, or am I just stating the truth here? I don't know, you tell me down in the comments below. But that's where I'll end the video. If you found yourself enjoying it and you would like to see more of this content, be sure to like and subscribe to help with the growth of this channel. I'm planning on making videos like these every Wednesday and Saturday, so a like and subscription will go a long way in helping. But really, thank you so much for watching, have a blessed one, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye bye.